points.
they
Dude, that's awesome. W Gamer. Thank
I
you.
have this game set up perfectly.
9 eliminations, really set the tone and the pace. And I was talking to you, Taco, during game 1, say this is a different vibe from Kanata, this major. This is a whole different feel during the Global Championship, and it's already showing up in game 1.
Touch on that a little bit later on. Right now, we've got Prodoxy, Pablo, Wingo, Gino. They found Yuma. They're looking to finish. But
Damn, bro.
nearly falling, but a back-to-back knocks, double eliminations, and Gino holding strong here. Prodoxy gonna find the final piece of the puzzle, and that's gonna be a clean sweep at Canyon Crossing.
And this is exactly what you need for Chino, Pablo, and
Dude,
Prodoxy. It's almost impossible to guarantee you're going to win 12 out of 12. They already lost game 1. So when you do win that off-spawn fight, you have to make each and every single one of those games count. And they're already making it sure that they get those eliminations. And they even take down some of the top teams in their cap. We're switching on over to Hyde. Kind of business as usual as Mustache gets the down on the Goofy from across the map. But there's too much space. There's too much distance. And just look at their loadout. They don't have a ton of crash pads. They don't have a lot of primary bids that they're using together. So they're not going to be able to easily rotate on over to get the elimination.
Also an issue with Swizzy having just been freshly knocked. That's going to mean that Mustache is now on revive responsibility.
I catch so many W's. W.
Acquire additional
Right, that's a lot.
the way. Oceana, though, definitely sending some presents back towards the way of EU. We'll have to check up and see how well this fares, but the elimination fee definitely picking up and revisiting Dystopia
Thank you, Prime, for
City.
commenting.
Victor V and Epic Whale, but Victor V's got 2 eliminations.
All
and
day.
they're able to take care of this reboot, no problem, but still bound to
All
draw some additional
day,
attention.
brother.
And kind of rightfully so. These guys are just playing out of their minds. Victor V deserves
25.
the
Dang,
biggest, the biggest
that is
round of
crazy.
applause. Honestly, I don't know where Pops
saw
is
that in
at
my
in
first
this
round.
building, but he has to be a part of this loud crowd. And there's the second elimination on the Razzo. They're making sure they know it. Look, it doesn't matter, M8 or not. They're cheering for this young individual.
Can't help but think part of the success that some of these teams are trying to claim, it does start. But Art, someone who was definitely swinging throughout that first lobby. Still, this is a difficult situation to tackle here. And
Let's
despite
run
things
for it.
looking slightly grim here for Art and Salco, they've delayed it long enough. This might not be that
The risk-reward scenario here, and they think they have the mismatch, but no, another team rolls up. Upple, Focus, Mixin, and they get at least one of those eliminations on the Kadu. That's going to help. That's a breath of fresh air for Art and Salco, because this distraction is allowing them to stay alive as Mixin and Upple, they clean up yet another
Guys, I'm
elimination
responding to
out here
comments
deep in
right
the
now.
zone.
dastardly
So
there
cap.
for Upple and a steep punish to just a fresh reminder to every single one of these teams in the lobby. There is no such thing as a clean battle if you can't find that quick time to elimination. It's something that so many of these veterans here on land, we're looking at a ton of major winners, right? Even across the international stage, but watch getting busy. Raito is going to be eliminated. And checking back now with Mixin, Upple, and Focus, they recognize there's still one more trio member. Granted, with those 2 eliminations, they're recognizing the fact that this is just an easy final piece if we want to take it, but it's not something they have to force.
You gotta be careful here too if you're Ark and Salco, because that
W
team's
Fortnite,
they don't
Chili,
necessarily know
FN,
Ark
shout
and
out to
Salco
Chili.
are there, so they just have to be patient as can be and kind of hope they have enough storm surge to last these next couple of zones. Because they're not a team that'll build those towers. Ark's going Salco.
You are good.
Mission that Ping is taken up. He's being fully collapsed on by the Middle East. Halad gonna find that initial knock onto Ping. Malabuka gonna be forced to try and possibly pull back from this position. FKS, Hira, and Halad just fully intervening with what they were scheming by the Alpha's Enclave. They're trying to get some surge across the way from Panzer and Yapko, but that option has just been reduced to nothing.
Kind of waiting to see if it works, because they know these 2 teams are fighting, but they may not know how many are. So if we have any shot of getting a top 10 in this tournament,
I shared my live stream.
Yo.
This is so reminiscent of how they handled their major 3 performance in EU. They were scrappy, they were aggressive, and they were successful.
What's up, chatter?
for
Smack
it.
that
And
like, smack
right
that
now, when
subscribe.
you're staying at a team, oh, hold that thought though. Gino taken out of the
Yeah,
sky.
God,
The
you're
dangers involved with this Flowberry Fizz, and the crash pad still has Pablo and Prodoxy to immediately back him up with that double revive, but there's definitely trouble in the horizon. Teams immediately trying to...
And they just end that fight rather quickly. But it was Agers.
So have my stream up in the background because I got like a pretty good view of it.
Quickly to get the revive. No worries there. Malibuca walks.
Yeah.
No ping still in sight. So many teams here on the southern portion of the
Yeah,
map,
you're almost at
including Hero,
Let's do
Cloud,
it.
and FKS. And Alex team even beginning to
my
rotate
dad's
over along with
coming.
Anon and Resigns. This southern portion of the map is looking rather busy.
Oshi has just decided, hey, we are so far south, but we need to get surged somehow. So for them to push forward, they might have taken notice of what was taking place inside of that elimination feed. Slightly different tempo though for Marius, Vanya, and Pixie. Just content, farm things out a little bit at OXR headquarters. Spot King off in his own surge base.
This is interesting fact. What's up, Logan? What's up, Jado? Peterbot is gonna win. What's up, Chili? What's up, Noah? Sorry, I had the chat covered. Jado, good vibes. Noah, hi. What's up?
Surprisingly enough, Ark
We're just out here. I was showing some love
clutch
to
up
another
big time for
streamer.
himself and
Let's play with
Salco.
it.
Yeah, I feel like that's almost an understatement. They tried to get the reboot back on the school. He went down again. It's almost no loss
Look at
because
this
they
shot.
were able to pick up a
Look at
huge
Curly.
elimination. It's Malibuca getting a knock on the knob. We're going to jump on board Cooper, Reed, and Curly.
Smack that like, smack that subscribe. Noah, Chili, Jado, can you guys all go comment on my shorts? Logan, go comment on the meme shorts, guys. Comment the laughing
landed
emoji.
right next to him. A huge drop, a huge upgrade, and that's something a team like this feeling confident once they get it.
Salco and Ark still trying to fight things out here. Big knock onto Oppo, but Focus from overhead. He's gonna bring down Salco. It's all down to Focus versus Ark. Focus definitely having the HP advantage currently, but he's gonna go for the full finish here onto Salco. That Siphon immediately extending his leverage here. Ark scrambling underneath him, trying to see if he can replenish just a little bit of his shields to boot. But Ark, he's gotta make a decision. He's gotta make it quick. He's trying to see if he can get this right angle peak. Instead, stuck underneath these pre-existing builds. Focus gonna create a little bit of space here. Focus off Flowberry Fizz, trying to get the overhead approach, and Ark is still looking to take this fight. He's not backing down. You have to respect the guts to go for it. And Focus still struggling to clean things up. Ark might just be able to turn it, but Ark, he doesn't have a lot of HP. He has to reload. He's not gonna be able to win it. He had the opportunity, Jacob, but he just had one more shot.
Very, very unfortunate circumstances for Ark. He ran out of white heals, no bandages, no medikits, those slurp juices. He had to be aggressive, but that played directly into Focus's hands, and he capitalized on it perfectly. Even though they're out of zone, Taco, I expect their full trio to be back into this game rather shortly. The fourth zone, still relatively early on in this game, but 6 eliminations for Halad, FKS, and Hero. We're seeing how they're picking up some of those eliminations. It's Walks, he gets caught slipping, clothesline. Shut down rather easy. Malib as well. No knock on the Malibuca, which means they're out of this game.
We knew it was going to be difficult, though, for Malibuca's team to have a recovery point. They got so locked down at Outpost Enclave, but this is wicked work by Pablo, Gino, and Prodoxy. Just slowly making the Prodoxy crouch approach. He's been notorious. It could be the surprise that Peterbot does not want to have to deal with, or Golden Ritual. But Pablo, Gino, Prodoxy, the patience, the discipline, they know exactly when they want to strike. They could possibly even be looking to try and tackle a couple other teams nearby.
Yeah, just kind of double options. Wait for zone. But if somebody kind of gets a little bit too ahead of themselves, that could be an opportunity as Peterbot shutting down Resigns. And again, no knock. So the #1 team from OCE is out of the lobby in game number 2 as Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual looks to ramp things up. But Pixstorm and Demas, underdog story the entire year. And this is something, I love the underdog story. And everybody, so many people were putting this team in the top 10, maybe even some inside of the top 5. Yesterday, we were watching their games. They were kind of having fun with some sky bases, but now is the time to really put it all to the test. zone favoring their side of the map. They just have to travel up a little bit towards the north. Now they got the position ahead of everybody team towards the south. This is a good chance for them to start to accumulate surge.
Their low ground flagging potential has been what's really struck them into the spotlight from the EU. But you can't help but think about the fact that even that first
Are you still on my
I know
screen?
Sven has been cooking up some strats with his Polish boys because
I think so, let's see.
Stormy Bemis attempting to maintain height at one point. Curious if they
No, I
try
closed
to do
it out
that
on the
same
computer.
sort of mentality in the secondary lobby. Height was definitely a little bit scrappy last game, but King, Phaser, they know the
People keep joining
no
over.
trouble here, but they know Focus is in even more trouble. They want to see if they can maybe
Hang on, let's
isolate
go into
the
a private
Torah
server.
because
Let's go into
they're going
private
to
server.
keep them away from their position. PHN is going to need a bailout.
You wanna go
soon,
into private server?
Yeah, this is a scary situation.
Like,
The entire trio for that matter. Finally, they find some heals, but I was just thinking 177 above the damage threshold. It is
Hold on.
above the
What's up,
damage
Chili?
threshold, but it is not a ton.
I think I'm gonna play a little bit.
Rather quickly, especially if
Huh?
you see Merce
A
Dash,
little
you
bit.
see Swizzy, Queasy on the other side of the mountain in the zone, pushing
I
further
can
and
hear you,
further
what?
towards the northeast. And this is
I'm
where
gonna be
the
playing
battle
a little
line,
bit.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
Okay.
on that side of the map, Taco, there's mountain ranges, there's dips, there's dives, there's so many different things in terms of elevation. Teams better be prepared.
And look, game one definitely did.
What's up?